Nå, Tom. Okay, der er lidt her, der er lidt her. Oh ja. Vi kan jo ikke have en gratis stream. Gratis stream, hvad snakker I om det? Nej. Men det bliver nok den sidste stream i dag. Fuck, det regner også på meget. Men jeg synes det er flot, at vi kommer op på 2 streams i dag. Hello.
Luk den først. Og luk også den her side først. Så stille og roligt. Jeg håber ikke, den er for meget, men det går. Det bliver måske mere en burrito. Ja. Nej, det bliver en kebab. Det tror jeg, det er bare lidt rundt. Det er bare ikke så rundt. Den er bare ikke så stor. Det er en lille kebab. Godt. Ja, den er lidt tyk. Det er en tyk kebab. Kan jeg rumme den? Ja. Vi kan lade den rumme. Ja. Hvordan går den der hans fætter? Skummet? Ja. Ja, de har det godt. Okay, så er det meget godt. Det har vi ikke tænkt på. Det har jeg ikke tænkt på i nogen spil. Så den er god, bro. Jo, nu så. Tag en bid. Jeg bruger den her, den er uden løg. Så er det min, så er leger med. Skal vi have en bid? Nej, uden at mukbang. Så er vi her. Hey, skal det lige smage?
Det er godt.
at sige, at I har fundet mus i huset. At prøve et klassisk træk fra et folkeeventyr hjælper lidt. IF hjælper meget. Velkommen til IF Forsikring.
Strawberry and cream. Hey, what up? Hvad så? Sodavandstest. Yeah. Taste-test. Taste-test. Yeah. Hey, Mia. Vi har noget, du ikke har. Dr. Pepper. Ja. Med jordbær. Ja. Er det kun jordbær? Og creme. Strawberry and cream. Ja. Crack that bitch up, man. We have to taste it. Åbn med den her. Kom nu, det kan vi godt. Den knækker sig så der bliver lort. Den knækkede ikke. Nå. Det her er min kanale, så jeg tester den, så... Synes det. Nej. Vi kan faktisk ikke teste den, men det gør ikke. Den er banger. Den er banger. Den er banger. Ikke for meget jordbær, men man kan smage lidt. Cheers, mate. Men for helvede, mand. Der er ikke været 40 i. Fans. Jeg vil ikke bruge det til en skid. Jeg synes, det er god. Ja, det er så god. Ja, det er ikke bedst, der kunne være. Jeg vil faktisk ikke sige, at den smager for meget jord.
Giv det privat nummer.
2 sekunder, Gitte. 2 sekunder. Jeg skal lige... Sådan der, så er jeg tilbage for ham.
Help a brother out. And matter of fact, while you're down there, consider subscribing too. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and rank these arcs, man. Let's go ahead and rank these arcs. Starting off with the first arc in the franchise that some may not even think to be an actual arc is the Vilgax arc, which includes the episodes named number 10, Hunted, The Alliance, and Secrets. Now this is one of the best first arcs in an action cartoon. It successfully introduced the world of Ben 10 to us in that iconic first episode, then followed it up with 3 more episodes that all expand on the relationship between Ben, the Omnitrix, and of course, Vilgax. Hunted has always been a standout episode for me personally, just due to how fun it is to watch and its significance it has to the show overall. From Ben learning to use the watch in a more strategical way than just always going for his strength options. This episode also displayed Vilgax's relentless nature by still relentlessly pursuing the Omnitrix Even though he's just floating bits of molecules in a fucking piss tank, like, brother, is the Omnitrix really that important to you? And this episode also reveals that one of the bounty hunters is part of the species we've seen Ben use, with him being a Petrosapien, who also knows some extensive knowledge about the Omnitrix, and who eventually becomes a very important side character in the classic series. Shout out my boy Tetrax, man. We should have got a lot more of you in the future series. This arc also features the only useful appearance for Rojo in the episode Alliance, with her becoming a pawn of Vilgax, further just showing how far he's willing to go to obtain the Omnitrix. Like, he is taking over, like, random civilians and sending bounty hunters all from this little floating tank he's in. Like, gee, I promise you the Omnitrix is not that important, but what the fuck do I know, you know? This episode also had like some serious emotion with Grandpa Max being literally hospitalized, which I think is something that should have had a stronger impact in this arc if this wasn't an episodic show, so they just kind of forget about it next episode. However, what makes this arc as iconic as it is of course that final episode, Secrets. Secrets alone is a top 5 episode in the whole franchise, where Vilgax finally coming out of the tank, fully cyberpunked up, and he's like, I'm about to kill you, my nigga. Like, this is one of the most imposing villains I've ever watched in a cartoon. Along with all the lore coming out, that we finally know why Max seems to know more that he's been letting on, that he's not your typical plumber, and learning that he has history with Vilgax, it's like, ooh, this episode is just so juicy. I also can't forget to mention like the quality of animation throughout the whole episode, from like the heat blast to the fight at Mount Rushmore with Ben switching between aliens as he fights Vilgax. It's all just fucking peak. The Vilgax arc starts off with one of the best pilot episodes, and then has 2 very strong episodes in between, and then just finishes the sandwich off.
En periodebror. Jeg skal også tage en pause her, sådan, her i august alligevel, så det er mere det, men det der.
Banger finale episode. Like, I'd be
We chilling, fam. We chilling.
anything but S tier. The Ghost Freak arc is a lot more complex and less straightforward than the Vilgax arc. This arc has the novelty of being based around one of Ben 10's more interesting villains, and the Scare, aka Ghost Freak, the alien who escaped from Ben's Omnitrix. The first episode in the arc sort of sets up that conflict, with Ben having weird dreams and being like haunted by Ghost Freak outside of the transformation. But once the Scare breaks free, revealing his true form, he begins to cement himself as one of the franchise's scariest villains, possesses Gwen and like threatens to like surrender himself so that he can possess him and have access to the Omnitrix to make himself whole. Throughout like the entire first episode, he is like genuinely a scary villain, and I'm surprised that they quote unquote kill him at the end, leaving him absent from like the rest of his own arc until like the season finale. That's like kind of crazy. Thankfully, Ben Wolf and Under Wraps are both episodes that are interesting even without the presence of the Scare. How these episodes introduce and revolve around the mysterious plans of the werewolf and the mummy, who turn out to be aliens, really helps me enjoy this arc a lot. That enjoyment only gets higher too when I get to see Ben use these aliens in battle, even though after his arc they just disappear, like he doesn't use them ever again, which like is kind of like ass, because like Frankenstrike is cool as fuck, so is Ben Mummy, and so is Ben Wolf, even though the names suck. I much prefer the ones that give them the Omniverse, even though Blitzwolf is like kind of that. This is a tangent we don't need to talk about. The 2-part arc finale is some high value entertainment though, with just how much action is packed within them. Be Afraid of the Dark in particular, on the space shuttle, where Gwen, Max, and Ben take on the Halloween aliens plus Ghost Freak, and Ben and Frankenstrike is like, it's so fucking raw. Like, it's just so raw. The weakest part of this arc is actually like the lack of Ghost Freak, like I mentioned. His plan to eclipse the world in darkness so he can rule it is such like an okay, interesting and intriguing plan. It can bring some real tension, which is something the Scare just naturally brings. It's like I said, just a shame that he just disappears and comes back randomly in his arc. So overall, I would just give the Ghost Freak arc an A. It would be an S if, you know, we had more Ghost Freak. So I'll just slide it in A tier. Moving over to Alien Force, the second series in the franchise, and its primary arc being the Hybrid Invasion arc. This arc spans 2 whole seasons of Alien Force and is regarded by many fans as the best of Ben 10, myself included. You know, if any of you guys care what I think, you guys might not. Almost every episode though in this arc is like genuinely perfect. Like, they were cooking with gasoline, my nigga. You got the Ben 10 Returns 2-parter. Everybody talks about the weather. Max out. Plumber's helpers. Darkstar rising alone together, and the World of Wars two-parter. Even the in-between episodes, like Undercover, where the trio rescues Cooper in his return, is written and folds into the central arc all so well. The Hybrid and the D and aliens were also a unique race of aliens, especially the D and aliens operating as like the army for the Hybrid. Like just seeing their power, the little xenocytes they carry around, and just how they infiltrated Earth with the use of the ID mask, it all helped add to the seriousness of this arc that yes, aliens are invading the planet. Then I would all just lead up to those final episodes, bringing together all the important side characters we met throughout the seasons, from Alan Albright to Helen, Pierce, and Manny, reintroducing Cooper and convincing Darkstar to combat the invasion. The arc is also filled with tons of iconic ass moments, like the entire first episode when Cannonbolt comes back after Ben gives that gorgeous speech. Like that shit gets the dopamine rushing. And I can't forget about Grandpa Max's fake out death that like always moves me to tears, even though like I know the nigga's not dead. And of course Ben curing the Hybrids in the finale. This arc in the entirety of season 1 and season 2 of Alien Force is written just like so well and consistently that it's hard for me to think of any real negatives besides maybe a couple hiccups in the middle of the arc with episodes like
On the 26th of June 2009, Cristiano Ronaldo signed for a struggling Real Madrid side, and despite already being one of the best players in the world, over the next 9 years he left a legacy that literally nobody believed could be possible. Because in a total of 438 games, he scored 450 goals, won 16 major trophies, and lifted the Ballon d'Or 4 times. And all of this happening when Lionel Messi and Barcelona were arguably at the peak of their powers. This is a story that simply shouldn't have been possible. These are games that shouldn't have been won. Goals that shouldn't have been scored, but yet they were. And to understand how this all happened, we have to head to Santiago Bernabeu in the summer of 2009, as the stadium was packed in white with 80,000 fans crammed in to see one man, Cristiano Ronaldo. Moves inside Ronaldo. Absolutely brilliant. His unveiling ceremony was attended by more fans than any other unveiling in football history, as Ronaldo stood in front of the fans and said, "I have made my childhood dream a reality." But at this time, he was not CR7, but instead started his Real Madrid career wearing the number 9 jersey. His £80 million fee was a world record, and his wages over the 6-year contract would total more than £100 million on top of that. And at this time, Real Madrid needed to spend huge money, as they were up against one of the greatest teams ever assembled, Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. That Barcelona team with Xavi and Andres Iniesta in midfield were dominating world football and had finished 9 points ahead of Real Madrid the previous season. And of course, they had Lionel Messi up front, who was about to win his first Ballon d'Or, matching Ronaldo's 1 Ballon d'Or from his time at United. So Real Madrid had a huge task ahead of them when Ronaldo joined the club, and a rivalry that would span the next decade was about to be born. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo got off to a strong start at Real Madrid, scoring on his debut against Deportivo La Coruña, and then scoring 5 goals in his first 4 games, making him the first Real Madrid player to score in their first 4 La Liga matches, and he also scored 2 goals in both of his first 2 Champions League games for Madrid. But then, while on international duty, he suffered an ankle injury that would keep him out for the next 6 La Liga matches, and Real would lose one of those and draw another before Ronaldo would return for his first El Clasico ever. But he could only manage 65 minutes of the game, as Madrid would lose 1-0. As the season progressed, Ronaldo struggled to find his form over the winter, scoring just twice in December and twice in January in La Liga, and even getting sent off against Malaga, until finally Ronaldo would hit top form in February, scoring or getting an assist in all but 3 games in the rest of that La Liga season. But one of those blanks again came against Barcelona, who did the double over Madrid, and that second loss to Barcelona would prove costly, as Real Madrid would finish the season on 96 points, just 3 points behind their rivals from Catalonia. And there was little luck for Madrid in cup competitions either, as they would lose in the last 16 of the Champions League against Lyon, and have a surprise at 4-0 against Lille Alcorcon. In this injury-plagued season, Ronaldo wasn't even Real Madrid's top scorer in La Liga, scoring 26 goals, 1 fewer than Gonzalo Higuain, and Ronaldo's total in all competitions was 33, far behind Messi's 47 for the campaign. As it stood, Ronaldo was performing well, but far below his expectations for himself. But if one thing is for sure, However, during his time in Real Madrid, he would age like fine wine because he arguably just got better year after year, with two main eras being clear in Real Madrid. The first being the takedown of this Guardiola side, and the second being the 3P team, where he cemented himself as one of the greatest of all time. But for now, things would go from bad to worse, because that summer saw more misery in the World Cup, as Ronaldo would score just one goal against North Korea. Portugal would be eliminated by Spain in the round of 16, but that same summer, Spanish legend Raul would leave Real Madrid, leaving his shirt number vacant, meaning Ronaldo could finally pick the number 7 jersey, and CR7 was born again. And there was one more change in Real Madrid, as head coach Manuel Pellegrini was replaced by the special one, Jose Mourinho, who was fresh off the back of a treble where he defeated Barcelona on the way to the Champions League final, and now he came into Los Blancos with the sole goal of ending this Pep Guardiola dynasty. And with Ronaldo by his side, things were about to get very interesting. But very quickly, before we get to the Mourinho and Ronaldo era, I just really want to ask you to subscribe and let me know which version of Cristiano Ronaldo you think is the best, because we're about to see some terrifying versions of this man, as Mourinho was about to turn him into a monster. But still, Ronaldo would get off to a slow start in the 2010-11 season under Mourinho, scoring just 1 in his first 5 La Liga games, but then he would hit a hot streak, scoring 10 goals in 4 games, including 4 goals in a single game against Racing Santander, before a few games later scoring a hat-trick against Bilbao in what, at the time, was Real Madrid's best ever start to a league season. But Real's unbeaten start to the season would hit a giant snag as they got humiliated 5-0 by Barcelona in the Camp Nou, in a game that saw Barcelona dominate so much with their famous tiki-taka style that one of their goals would involve a 22-pass build-up, and that match would be one of 4 losses that season, although Ronaldo didn't play in 2 of those games, but he did play in the Copa del Rey, where he reached his first final with Real Madrid, and they would face Barcelona as part of an unprecedented run of 4 El Clasicos in just 18 days. This was so significant because these 4 Clásicos could have decided a treble, as they were fighting it out in all 3 competitions. In the Cup, Ronaldo would be the victor, getting a header in extra time to win the match 1-0 and win his first club trophy at Real Madrid. After the game, he would say, "We are very happy. Madrid had not won this trophy in many years," but just a few days later, they would face Barcelona again, this time in the Champions League, where Madrid would lose 2-0 at home, getting knocked out by Messi and Barcelona, who would eventually go on to lift the trophy. And to make matters even worse, Barcelona also went on to lift the La Liga title, meaning, yet again, Ronaldo was outshined by Lionel Messi, who went on to lift his 3rd Ballon d'Or, making it 3-1 to the little Argentine. But Cristiano Ronaldo did manage to finish top scorer in La Liga, being the first player to break the 40-goal barrier for the season. Now, as the 11-12 season rolled around, next season Ronaldo would really hit top form, starting the 2011-12 La Liga season with a hat-trick against Real Zaragoza, but in the 3rd game of the season against Levante, he went off at halftime with an injury, and this was the only match Madrid lost until December, when they again lost to none other than Barcelona. After that, Madrid went unbeaten for the rest of the season, and would face Barcelona again with 5 games left, where at the Camp Nou, Mourinho would finally neutralize Barcelona's tiki-taka football, and Ronaldo would score the winning goal to basically secure the title for Real Madrid, who finished with a record-breaking 100 points, finally winning La Liga for the first time in 4 years, with Ronaldo netting 46 goals in the league, including his 100th goal for Real Madrid, and this absolute rocket of a goal against Osasuna. He finished the season on an incredible 60 goals in all competitions, but somehow Messi, in perhaps his best ever season, even topped that, hitting 73 goals and, once again, winning the Ballon d'Or. At this time, the Ronaldo-Messi rivalry was beginning to really heat up, with fans around the world taking sides, but to Cristiano, that was all just noise. He had more work to do because a league title was great, but both him and Real Madrid were chasing down that Champions League title, but they would have to wait a little longer to get there. As for the summer, he would show how good he was for Portugal, scoring 3 goals at Euro 2012 and being named in the team of the tournament, as Portugal reached the semi-finals but ultimately fell short. Yet another competition Ronaldo was going to have to wait a little longer to win. Entering the 2012-13 season, Real Madrid looked like they fell apart from the previous season. The Blancos only won 1 of their first 4 games, and something was clearly wrong, as Ronaldo didn't even celebrate when scoring twice in that win. And despite Ronaldo trying to get the season back on track with 9 goals in 5 games, Real Madrid slumped as low as 3rd for much of the season, and Ronaldo's relationship with Mourinho was becoming strained, with the head coach angry at CR7 CR7 for not doing enough defensively and saying he thinks he knows everything and the coach cannot help him develop further. And Ronaldo reportedly saying, after all I've done for you, this is how you treat me? As Real Madrid eventually finished with 85 points, far behind Barcelona. On a personal level, Ronaldo scored 55 goals in all competitions, including 12 Champions League goals, as Madrid again failed at the semi-final stage. But Ronaldo's leadership role at Los Blancos was starting to be recognized, as in a match against Real Sociedad, he became the first non-Spanish player in 60 years to captain Real Madrid. After this season of underperforming, Mourinho parted ways with Ronaldo at Los Blancos, but since leaving, has come out to talk about Ronaldo, saying, coaching him was the highlight of my career. He's the most professional player I've ever met, meaning love was definitely not lost between the two Portuguese stars. But as far as the managerial role, Mourinho would be replaced by Carlo Ancelotti, who was chosen by Madrid due to his record in the Champions League, because Madrid were obsessed with winning the famous trophy for the 10th time, with Ancelotti saying, as soon as I arrived, it was the only thing that people would talk about. Cristiano Ronaldo was also obsessed with this. He hadn't won it since 2008 with Man United, and his obsession with being the best player in the world hadn't gone anywhere. The issue was just that Messi kept sweeping up the Ballon d'Or, but even without winning the Champions League or the La Liga title in that previous season, Ronaldo's individual permitted him his second Ballon d'Or for 2013. Now, when Carlo Ancelotti came in, he changed the way Ronaldo played, getting him to dribble less and pass less, and instead focus on creating close-range chances and scoring goals. And at this time, Real Madrid would sign Gareth Bale from Tottenham Hotspur to create the legendary BBC of Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano in an insanely attacking 3-4-3 formation. And Ronaldo started the 13-14 season strongly, scoring 17 goals in La Liga before the end of November, and then playing a crucial World Cup qualifier against Sweden, which was dubbed as Ronaldo versus Zlatan, with Zlatan Ibrahimovic scoring both Sweden's goals, but Ronaldo scored once in the first leg and then got a hat-trick in the second leg to secure Portugal's World Cup spot. Looking back to Spain, Real Madrid struggled in La Liga and ended up finishing third behind Barcelona and surprise champions Atletico Madrid, but Real would beat both those sides on the way to once again winning the Copa del Rey. And that season, Ronaldo would show up big time in the Champions League, scoring 9 in the group stage, including a hat-trick against Galatasaray and 4 against Schalke in the last 16. He'd score again against Dortmund, then get 2 goals in a 4-0 thrashing of Bayern Munich to set up a final against local rivals